Hey, it's Jeffrey Grossman, and I got a question for you. Would you take advice from a chiropractor seriously? I know it might sound like a half-baked thing to do. Like, what does a chiropractor know about running a hugely successful acupuncture practice? But before you dismiss it as clinically insane, I've got a story for you which I know will change the way you see and operate your practice. About 10 years ago, I took one of the craziest risks that I've ever taken in my life. And hear me out, because I'm not one of the most risk-averse kind of people that you'll meet. In fact, if you've ever watched the movie The Field of Dreams, it's nearly on that level in terms of being out in left field. So here's what happened. Years ago, I was trapped doing work as a graphic designer here in Seattle. Listen, it was a nice gig, paid decently, and yet I felt completely unfulfilled. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. It was stable, and at the time I thought stability equaled happiness. Then, one day, something happened which changed my life forever. See, I'd spend countless hours sitting behind my desk just the way I liked to work, but what I didn't know is my back was paying a price for it. Then, one morning, I woke up with the most searing pain I've ever experienced. Man, it felt like someone took vice grips to my muscles and twisted them as hard as possible. I could barely move and somehow managed to get myself into the ER. Hours later, when the doctor finally showed up, he checks me out and gives me a script for painkillers. I was grateful for any relief, except none was coming. Without questioning him, I went and got the meds, followed his directions, and sure enough, nothing changed. Go figure, right? Now, this was actually causing problems at work since the pain was so severe I couldn't focus at work. Then, one afternoon, a buddy came over and dropped off an article talking about acupuncture. He thought, what the hell? Nothing else is working. So I made an appointment with my nearest acupuncturist, even though the idea of getting pricked with needles was unnerving. Instead, it was amazing. The pain was completely gone. I didn't have to take those dumb meds. And from that day going forward, I wanted to do the same thing for other people. It resonated with me. It struck such a deep chord, I stumbled upon something that really filled a lot of my professional desires. I wanted to work for myself, be my own boss, make my own hours, incorporate a philosophy into my life, and make a life that allowed for time spent with family. So I got this wild idea. Maybe I would become an acupuncturist. So I researched a few schools, made a few appointments, booked a couple of flights, and visited 5 acupuncture schools across the country to find out which one felt right. Just days later, I began applying to acupuncture schools, and once I got in, I absorbed every bit of teaching I got like a sponge. I was 100% dedicated to healing people, changing lives, and educating anybody who would listen about how incredible the medicine was for me and my patients. School couldn't end fast enough because I was that ready to start my practice. Except there was one minor detail which was left out. And it was getting my first patient. Ugh, this was hard. Personally, I'm not a huge marketing guy. Marketing and selling would cause panic and sweaty palms every time I thought about doing some promo for my practice. School was great at teaching me how to apply the medicine and become an incredible diagnostician. It was top notch for that. Yet, in terms of running my own practice, it had nothing for me. In terms of getting my first few clients from day one, nothing but zilch. Maybe you can relate. And this was the irony of the whole thing. All the acupuncture training in the world makes no difference if you can't get a consistent flow of patients streaming through your doors. So I did what most anyone would do. I began signing up for health fairs and any marketing event anywhere I can find them. I began to spend money that I didn't have to place ads in local magazines and newspapers. And I would try to do a talk anywhere I could. What a painful experience. If you saw the first time I worked a health fair, it would have looked something like a train wreck sitting right next to a 15-card pileup. I'd approach potential patients and felt like I didn't even know how to talk to them and explain what I did, what I can offer them. And I had no idea how to get them to take the first steps to come in to see me. And they, of course, just blew me off. And if you sat in on my first talk, well, you would have been the only person in that room. Every failure felt like I was slowly losing my dream, and it was the most painfully slow way as possible. Pressure began to mount. Bills began to pile up. Maybe you know the feeling. I started stressing out, and the stress energy was palatable in my practice. All the doubters started coming out, including my own head. The bills for paying off student loans began menacingly showing up on my mailbox and on my voicemail. It actually got to the point where I was terrified to look into my mailbox or answer my phone because who knew what piece of bad news was waiting for me? My bank account was nearly drained, not once, but multiple times. Something had to change or I was going to get sucked into financial ruin, and even worse, it would prove all my doubters right. At this point, I was desperate, and desperate times call for desperate measures. I scraped together every nickel, dime, and dollar I can find so I could work with the best mentors, coaches, and practitioners I could. This is what I call my $15,000 gamble. A roll of the dice to see if I could save my floundering practice. Now, there's a little twist that you'll be blown away by what it is. Keep watching and you'll see what I mean. Once I got my $15,000 together, I began reaching out to none other than chiropractors. Yes, chiropractors. And here's why. I don't know if it's how they're trained in school or just how the public perceives them, but man, they know how to get people in the door. They know how to market their practice. They know about systems that reactivate their inactive patients, and they know how to attract patients almost as easy as waving a magic wand. So I began my earnest study to move my practice from the cliffs of financial ruin by training, studying, and emulating my mentors. I started to do what they did, but in an acupuncture sort of way. You would not believe how many notebooks I kept filling up. What these guys do and know and say is amazing. What I thought was some weird kind of hypnotic marketing voodoo they worked on patients was actually a systematic way to constantly get new patients, keep them coming back for treatments, and getting them to refer their friends. It was a system that I tapped into that worked. And this is what I wanted to share with you today. Here's what this is all about. Ever since I took the $15,000 gamble, I've assembled all the knowledge I've personally gained about growing a thriving business, and more importantly, changing the lives of every patient I would treat. What I've done is gather the best and brightest minds in the acupuncture industry today and put together a powerful yet simply comprehensive set of programs specifically designed to grow your business the moment you dive in. Even if you've just started your practice, even if you've just hit a wall when it comes to getting new patients and getting them to come back, even if you've tried every marketing technique in the books and failed miserably, or if you believe you've just seen and heard it all, I promise you have never seen anything like this before. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is simple. When we all got out of school and started our practices, the pressure was enormous to get it running and producing an income quickly. And that, my friend, quickly became overwhelming, frustrating, and slightly depressing. You see, I had a dream, maybe just like you do, to help more people achieve their healthcare goals. Like my patient who came in for arm pain and all they wanted to do was to get back to holding his toddler. Or the couple who was at wit's end trying to conceive. Not only did I give them hope, I gave them the ability to bring a new life into this world. Or the 9-year-old who couldn't play in the schoolyard because of his asthma. He got the ability to run, jump, and make new friends. You see, there was so much we didn't know and weren't prepared for, and honestly, I wish I had something like this my first year in practice. Or in any year for that matter. All I ever wanted to do was help people understand how powerful and transformative and healing this form of medicine is, nothing more. Yet, it's impossible to share the gift of acupuncture unless you know how to get in front of people, communicate with them, and actually get them to take the next steps to schedule with you. And I get it. You need to and want to grow your practice, but can't stand the idea of marketing. Or just don't know how to speak to your patients and to get them scheduled for and paying for treatments. Or maybe you just don't know what type of marketing to do that really brings in new patients. I know, I was there. I struggled so much in the early years of my practice. Well, I guess that's what motivated me to make that $15,000 gamble, huh? I get it, because I've been there and made all the mistakes you've made or are about to make. It's my mission to use the combined experience from all the presenters in the summit to help you not only grow beyond what you thought was possible, but to show you how you can attract new patients and share with them the power of this medicine and change more lives. Here's what I've created specifically for you. Why the future of your practice depends on these points to ponder, the acupuncturist in business, and how they will dramatically impact your ability to bring new patients, keep them coming back, and referring you dozens more patients. How to unlock the secrets, these simple steps of the Chinese way to health to deliver incredible healing results to your patients. This is an amazing secret you need to radically change the lives of your patients for the better. Think every patient is a one and doneer? This 12-step protocol for lifetime patients shows you the sweet spot for creating a consistent, stress-free, recurring income with your current and new patients. Plus, you'll have lifetime access to all the videos from the AOM Summit so you can implement all the business growing strategies from the world's most successful practitioners. You might be wondering what something like this might cost to get this program. And I'll get to that price in a moment. Ask yourself this question: what will it cost to do nothing? The answer is simple. It could cost you everything. You're here because you want to grow your business and change lives. The problem is, it's going to be nearly impossible to change anyone's life if you don't change yours. I don't mean that in a harsh way. I mean that you need to embrace the idea that since you are in private practice, you, by default, are a business person. And being in business requires selling things. In this case, you're selling the best thing: health and a new lease on life. But selling requires marketing and using proven techniques that attract new customers, in our case, patients. And since you've watched up to this point, I'm willing to bet you're going to do what it takes to ensure your practice not only survives, it thrives. Because the simple fact is, we can show you everything we know, but if you're not willing to take decisive action and jumpstart your practice, there's nothing anyone can do for you. Okay, so here's the deal. Normally, I'd ask one of my clients to pay upwards of 5 figures to give them the same techniques I'm going to share with you today. Don't worry though, I'm not going to ask you to invest anywhere near that amount. I'm not going to even ask you to invest even 10% of that amount that I'll typically get from a client. Nope. What I've done for you is this. The AOM Summit is about 14 marketing savvy practitioners and coaches giving you some of their best stuff on building a practice, attracting patients, and putting systems into place. It's all here inside the Summit archives. So we've created this training program tailored to your needs and budget. It's ridiculous how affordable we've made it. You can get access to the Silver Summit Pass for as low as $47. This will give you immediate lifetime access to all of the AOM Summit presenter videos, so you won't miss a single marketing tip or insight. You can pause, rewind, stop, and study the trainings at your own pace 24/7 in the comfort of your home. Think about this. If you use the Silver Summit Pass for even 1 year, it breaks down to $3.91 per month. That's less than 13 cents a day. 13 cents a day! Most people blow 200% more than that on a Starbucks latte every day. Now, you can invest the money back into your own practice's growth, and there's one indisputable fact about investing in yourself. Always will give you the biggest return on your dollar. And don't you believe your practice and helping more people is worth investing $47? Of course your practice is worth it. Let me also lay it out for you this way. The cost of just half of one acupuncture treatment covers the entire Silver Summit Pass for life. That means pay once and get access for it for life. At this point, you have 2 choices. And the choice you make right here, right now, could dictate what direction your practice is going to go. The first choice is go it alone. You can try to figure out everything on your own, make mistakes, and try to reinvent the patient attraction wheel. And listen, it's totally possible. But why try to do it alone when you can follow a trail that's been blazed for you already? And this leads to choice number 2. As you've seen, what we've put together in this program is based not on theory, but rather on result. Instead of trying to figure it all out on your own, now you can simply follow the trail that's been blazed. Honestly, running your own acupuncture practice is hard enough. Yet, this program will make it running it as easy as possible. Besides, think of it this way. With all the scandals out there, with people being forced to take prescription drugs and treatments that fail so often, the public needs more people like you, like us, like this profession. They need to know there's more options than an ER visit and pills, and this program will help you reach more of them. I think you'll agree everyone wins when they're healed, healthier, happier, and treated with this powerful medicine. All you need to do to get started is hit the big yellow button below, put in your details, and within seconds, you'll have full access to the Silver program. Oh, and I think once you get in, you'll agree that this was the best $47 you had ever invested in your practice. I'll see you on the inside. Now, let's get you up and running.